Majo John, Nad, and Juanito in my little house at the edge of the Yacamal Pueblo. Here's my front yard. In a moment, I'm going to give my debrief of all the excitement in the U.S. Capitol today, Trump's message to our country and the world. I'm still saying my country. And so that was the big excitement, and I absolutely was riveted to live coverage. But I'm not honestly as excited about any of that as I am about the video I just shot out here in the front yard and down the street, because after 3 months of living here and getting to know pretty much every dog on the street, we call this a barrio, a neighborhood, and they're all a pack and they all get along. I had to escort the puppy back because there's a puppy who lives there who likes to come visit me and is, as any puppy, absolute mayhem. and they don't want him down here. So I had to hustle him, I think she's a her, back, and I met Marisol, the mom who lives there, and didn't get a name of her daughter. And I found out the parentage, more about the parentage. It seems like all the dogs on this street come from just a couple of parents or moms anyway. I did find out the other day that this dog that I call Negro, because that's what they call black dogs in Mexico, and because I had a little bit of remaining trauma from being bitten by a big black dog named Negro, and it's been great to have a little black dog who adores me. She is the daughter of the dog that I call Princess. And the one I'm hoping, I haven't watched the video yet, it's just uploading now as I walk down the street. I'm hoping it was still running because it was so bright out there I couldn't see the screen. But the tape ran 8 minutes. Hopefully we'll be at the end where the woman told me what they call her. These dogs do have names. A lot of street dogs never get a name. This dog that I call Spot is also daughter from a different litter. This one's saying, please, please, please give me a little bit of love. Yeah. So that was so exciting. That upstaged the whole stuff in Washington. You know, Trump made a couple of nods towards unity and tried to position the whole speech, I guess it was 35 minutes, as a unifying thing. But it was obvious to me, and certainly to the National Public Radio commentators, that he meant I'm unifying all the people who are behind me, who are really all the constituents I care about. Obama talked about there's no red America and blue America, there's just Americans. And he and Biden really, truly tried to serve all the people. Trump, it's clear, the only people he cares about are the ones who are going to line up behind him. And he and Ron Johnson, the head of the House, are dutifully saying, we will help Los Angeles, but it's a blue state. They don't support us. And they probably deserved it, and I'm sure it was all their fault. No mention of climate change. And we really want to condition our aid to Los Angeles on them doing some political things that we want to blackmail them into doing. And one commentator said, you know, when all your Republicans got battered in Florida by the hurricanes, we didn't try to condition the aid to them according to them being better politically. No, we just helped them. That's how you always do it. To say, well, we're not sure we want to help them at all because they're like California, they're bad people. So, yeah, excuse me for that little rant. The rant I'm going to make about the inaugural address, he said unity, but really he meant we, my people, the MAGA movement, are together in a way we never have been before. And he said some pretty horrifying things. He used the term manifest destiny, which traditionally means the American right to expansionism. And he talked about the heroic conquest of the West. No mention of the fact that all of it was stolen from the indigenous people who were massacred, certainly a genocide, marched hundreds of miles where lots of them died, made to live in reservations. The country was stolen from the indigenous people. No mention of the fact that 10 of the western states used to be Mexico. 55% of Mexico's landmass was stolen by the US back in the 1800s because we wanted it. We needed the room. We act horrified. No, it's not a wonder that the Republicans kind of don't care if Russia takes Ukraine, because it's in the American tradition. Russia wants it. Well, they're big and bad, and let them take it. It's what we did with Mexico. It's what we did with the whole continent. But he also really clarified, and maybe this will be reassuring to my transgender friends to know, officially you no longer exist. The way we're going to handle what is a confusing thing. I went through a year of struggling to figure out what transgender meant, but now I get it. But for a lot of people, no, black and white. And now it's male and female. It's going to be the official position of the U.S. government that there are only two genders, male and female. And all that other craziness, no, we're going to stick our head in the sand and say it doesn't exist. Their parents may be heroically fighting for their rights with the school boards and with the doctors and with stuff. Well, tough, because no, it's too confusing. We're just not going to deal with it. I love it during the 2020 election when Madeleine Warren was still campaigning for the presidency. Someone in one of her audiences said, "I believe marriage is for one man and one woman." And she said, "Great, you're clear on that. Just marry one woman, okay? And leave the rest of us alone, okay?" She didn't say that part, but it was clear that's what she was saying. So we don't have to worry about transgender anymore. And he said, they quoted this verbatim, "We are going to take the Panama Canal back." Panama's not in line with that. And he said the reason is that they've turned it over to the Chinese. And what the analyst said afterwards, well, the Chinese have a port in the Panama Canal, so do we. They don't own it any more than we own it. That's just a pretext. So how he plans to do that? Is he going to send soldiers down there to invade Panama? Well, we'll see. Maybe bluff, but who knows? The guy's crazy, and he's mentally deteriorating, and there's no one around him anymore who will say no. So we don't know. So it was horrifying. It was horrifying. And apparently when he went to the Capital One Arena, he got more off the cuff and went even more into his enemies list and how the Biden administration had betrayed America and weaponized government. Terrible things. They used the Justice Department to persecute me. Yeah, well, the person who looks like she's going to sail through Pam Bondi for the Justice Department, because she's not as awful as Matt Gaetz, she's on record as saying, we're gonna investigate the investigators, we're gonna prosecute the prosecutors, the J6 folks, the Justice Department. Thank God that one of his last acts, Biden gave blanket pardons to the J6 committee and their staffs and some folks like that. Not enough, but it was a good step. So there's my rant on that. Now I'm going to watch my video of my neighbors and find out all the names of these dogs. And then I have a video I want to make about the southern border, because there's an awful lot of talk about what's going to go on at the southern border. I know more about the southern border from direct experience than the average bear. I spent 9 months along the southern border, crossed at, I think, 5 or 6 different crossings, or attempted to. I got turned back sometimes. I know a lot about the Rio Grande Valley, the border between the U.S. and Mexico in Rio Grande Valley and across the Rio Grande River. A lot. So that'll be fun. Yeah, so stay tuned.